Welcome to our video series on advanced Dreamweaver features and techniques. In this video, we'll look at testing your documents in Dreamweaver. Dreamweaver allows you to run a number of tests of your documents, and you can do so through the File menu, and first of all, check Page. And first of all, we'll focus on browser compatibility and accessibility. Links are actually managed separately through the site management functionality of Dreamweaver. Okay, go File, check Page, and Browser Compatibility first of all. And as I touched on in the previous video, often just a quick test to see how it looks in the main browser to see if there are any issues. Often that's all that needs to be done. Whereas Dreamweaver here is listing a huge number of issues. And if I right-click on this, you can go to Settings, and you can specify which are the minimum browser versions that your page should work on. For example, Internet Explorer 6 or higher. You can go back as far as Internet Explorer 5, but I don't know how many people, if any, are still using that. So you can specify those settings. And if you right-click, you can have more information on any issue. You can choose to ignore an issue, save results, clear results, and open results in browser. Okay, so browser compatibility check, target browser, Internet Explorer 6, errors 54, warnings 0. Internet Explorer 7, errors 53, warnings 0. Internet Explorer for Macintosh, that's the only one with warnings, and it gives you information here. Really, again, as I mentioned, as long as it's checked in a number of browsers, it's not really going to have issues, or only very rarely are you going to come across issues. You can try to fix every one of those, and some of these are pretty minor, but it can produce a lot more work, so you have to decide whether it's worthwhile. For example, here, error, unsupported value, hairline, which is unsupported in Firefox 1.5, Internet Explorer 6 and 7, Internet Explorer for Macintosh. Okay, warning. For the top, text top, middle, bottom, and text bottom values of the CSS property, vertical align is incomplete. These values may not produce the intended effect. It's not really that serious. It just may look a bit funny. Okay, so that's how you do browser compatibility checks. And this opens up the results window. So if you want to just tuck this away, you just click on Results. But okay, what I'll do first is just right-click, clear Results, and then click on Results to tuck it away down here. Okay, File, check Page, Accessibility. And accessibility is basically checking that the maximum number of people browsing under all circumstances can view your pages successfully. Right-click again, and you can get more info, get reports, save results, clear results. For example, here, some of these are pretty obscure, and you'll need to be very familiar with HTML to fix these. And again, you're going to have to decide how much extra work it creates, and whether you think that's worthwhile. That said, in many of these cases, if you fix it in a template that you use across many, if not most of your pages, a lot of these issues are going to be fixed automatically, just through the fact that you use the template. But again, you're going to have to decide how much time to spend on this, and if you feel it's worth it, perhaps look into it more and try to build as many of these fixes as possible into a template that you work on across many pages. Okay, so right-click, and let's clear results, tuck results away again. Lastly, File, Validate, Markup to validate your code. And again, a lot of these are going to be very minor and aren't going to cause any issues for most people, or the vast majority of people browsing. Some of these are just minor details that haven't been included, but won't really have any negative effect on the page itself. For example, here, line 710, the tag TR doesn't have an attribute, height, in currently active versions. And this is to keep in line with the version of HTML XHTM 1.0 transitional. So if you're going to get into this much detail, you'll need to know which version of HTML you're creating your page for. So those are a number of tests you can do directly within Dreamweaver, and if you want to spend the time to fix all these issues, it will make your pages as widely accessible as possible. But again, as I mentioned, it can produce a lot more work. And if you don't fix every single issue, the absolute vast majority of website visitors won't come across issues with your pages unless it's truly a serious warning that's being presented that you've somehow overlooked and could cause problems across a wide number of browsers. But again, if you've checked in the browsers and everything looks fine, and if the page is interactive, for example, if it uses JavaScript, if you've done the necessary amount of testing, in most cases, you'll be absolutely fine.